Hi guys, so this is my first video and today I'm doing just a simple eye with the Kat Von D Shade and Light eye palette, and I'm also using the Kat Von D Shade and Light contour palette. And it's just a simple makeup look, as you can see. And then here I'm about to make an ugly face because I saw the curls that were not supposed to be there. So I started off using my Anastasia Beverly Hills Dip Brow Pomade, and I just used that like normal. I feel like a brow video would be completely separate, so I did cut out a lot of it. But as you can see, I kind of underline it at the front, and then I blend it upwards like that. I kind of tug it at my skin so that it blends upwards. And that'll give you that kind of faded look without it being overly faded. And then right on top of all of the brows, I go in with a brow powder or a brown eyeshadow. In this case, I was using a brown eyeshadow because I didn't know where my brow powder was because I wasn't doing this in my room or my makeup area. But I do that all the way to the front of the brow, and I just do that all the way through. Even at the front, and at the front I just kind of blend that in to where my skin is, like where the brow is not at, so that it just blends in seamlessly, but also without it looking too harsh and like super blended and light. Next, I used my MAC, the Studio Finish Concealer, and I kind of smudged that under my eyes. And I made that face because it didn't have the back to it, so I didn't know which shade it was. Then I went in with my Estee Lauder Matte Perfecting Primer, and then the Dewy Foundation, the The Fit Me Foundation by Maybelline. And I just dotted that all over my face, and I blended it out with a Real Techniques Expert Face Brush. And yeah, I just blended that all the way in, and you don't want to get that on your hair, obviously. Anyways, blend that down your neck. Then I went in with MAC Pro Longwear Concealer under my eyes, and I kind of dotted a very little bit of it because I was running out of it. And next I'm using my Airspun powder, which is a loose powder. It's a translucent powder, and I made that ugly face because I was trying to open the cap and it almost fell all over. And I go in with a little sponge and I put that under my eyes, and this is me thinking I'm funny. And I put that under my eyes, and I know it looks kind of weird right now, but I do go in and blend it out later on in the look. But this just, I'm using it because I didn't use that much concealer, and it helps canceling out those under eye circles right on top of that concealer. And also my under eyes crease so much, and this ensures that that won't happen at all. So yeah, that's the final look. Just kidding. That was me pretending to be funny. And then I go back into my MAC Studio Finish Concealer, and that was in the shade NC25, I want to say. I'm not too sure, but yeah. It's a little bit darker than what I would have liked. It's best to use a concealer that's slightly lighter on this. But I'm using it to carve out the bottom of my brows. I don't really use any at the top of the brow because I feel like that's when you go to the completely fake looking. And I'm not saying that my brows look natural at all, but yeah, that's just a little trick that I do. I just use it at the bottom of the brow, and then a little bit at the top if I made it a little bit messy, which is what I'm doing here. My brows do need shaping. I need to tweeze those babies out, and they look really bad, but just kind of deal with it because that's who I am. Anyways, that's me happy with my brows. Finally satisfied. Next I'm going with the Shade and Light palette, and I'm using the white tone from the little Cool Trio because they have like 3 different trios. And I'm using the cooler white, and I'm putting that all over the lid. And this color is super intense, so we're gonna make sure to blend that out in just a second. But you just want to set that down as a base. And I didn't prime my eyes only because I primed them with the concealer earlier, so I'm kind of just using that concealer to prime it as my primer at least. And I'm using that on my brow bone as well to set that concealer, and also to give my brow bone a little highlight. I don't want to over highlight the brow bone today because it's just supposed to be a simple, like, I guess not natural look, but simple look. And then here is the transition shade out of the Warmer Trio. And in case some of you guys may not know what the transition shade is, it helps blend out anything on your crease. So that's what I'm putting in on the crease. And it helps blend out any like smoky eye look, any darker colors, anything really. It helps blend everything in, which is just like a medium shade that you use in between your eyelid and your brow bone, or in the crease, and that's all I'm doing. I'm just blending that in, and I like using warm colors for this because I love warm colors. They're just like my life. So I'm just blending that all in to my crease, and I'm using a MAC 217 brush. Next, I'm going in with the warmer color within the trio. I didn't show this color, but it's one of the dark colors, and it's the warmer one. It's like a reddish tone. I'm using that all over the outer corner, not all over, just right on the outer corner, and I'm kind of dabbing that in. And by using this dabbing motion, the blending is into your eyelid is kind of done for yourself. You don't really have to work too hard. So once you do the dabbing, it'll blend into your eyelid easily. You might have to blend out where the crease is, but we're gonna go back in there and blend that out in just a second, so just be patient. This is the kind of look that, for me at least, looks ugly before it looks nice. So yeah, I'm kind of using that, and I did wing it out just a tad bit, not that much, which means I just kind of made it reach out a little bit to the end of my eyebrow. So yeah, that's that. And I just kind of go back and forth within that. Next, I go into the darker shade. Oh, and the shade I was using before is the one right next to this one. It's that darker brown that I'm using now, and I'm putting that right in the middle where I put that warm dark shade. So the warm dark shade is helping this color blend out, and this color is just really adding a little bit more depth to the look, giving it a little bit more dimension, and you're putting that right in the middle of that, if you can see. I mean, the video explains itself. I don't know how to explain that, but I just put it in the middle of everything I just added in a second. I'm using that same brush. I didn't go in with any extra product, and I'm just using that same brush and kind of blending that into the crease where I put the transition shade, and then I'm going back into that transition shade with my 217 brush and blending all that in. And I'm also going with that transition shade and putting it under my eye in the lower lash line. I couldn't remember what it's called. And as you can see, I'm extending it upwards, and this helps you perfect your eyeshadow wing so that it suits your eye shape the most. Just kind of extend your lower lash line as if you're reaching towards your eyebrow, towards the end of your eyebrow. And then I'm going in with that darker warm shade, and I'm just putting that on my lower lash line, and you can use any flat brush for this. I normally use like one of the flat brushes that you use on eyebrows and stuff, the precision brushes. I don't know what they're called. I'm just calling them whatever I think they are. But they were all dirty this time, so yeah, deal with it. Next, we're finally brushing off all that crazy powder. So I'm gonna stop looking like a crazy lady, and I'm just brushing all that off with a powder brush, the one that I use normally for my powder, for my face powder. And then I'm gonna go in with my Shade and Light contour palette by Kat Von D, and I'm using the banana shade color. I don't remember the name of it, but I'll write it down. And this part is probably unnecessary, but I'm doing it because I didn't really put any concealer under my eyes that much, at least not enough to cover up my dark circles, but the yellow kind of cancels out those colors, and it just kind of brightens up the look a little bit more. I'm just applying that everywhere that I put on some concealer, or wherever you want to highlight. And I could like do a separate video as to how you should highlight and where you should contour and everything, but that's a whole other video. And I dropped my brush here. And in case you're wondering what I said there, I said that I just cleaned my carpets because we just bought a new carpet cleaner. Anyways, I'm holding my brush flat here. It's a really small brush, and I'm holding it flat with my fingers to get that carved out look on the hollows of my cheeks, and then I'm letting it go to just blend everything in. And I like using a really small brush because I don't have any expensive NARS Ita brush. I'm not very rich. I'm not rich at all, actually. Anyways, so I'm just using that. I'm doing that same thing on both of my faces. Yeah, I have two faces. On both of my cheeks, and I'm just blending everything in until I am totally satisfied. Next, I'm going in with a MAC blush, and it's my favorite blush of all time, and it's the shade Desert Rose, and it's not in focus. There you go. And I'm using the shade Desert Rose. And I don't know why I did that, but I just did there on the video. I just decided to look like an idiot. Anyways, I got some blush on my brush, and I put it on my cheeks, and I blended the blush into my contour so that it kind of like seamlessly blends in. And I used I don't remember what those, dual fiber brush. I use one of those because I don't want it to be too intense, so using that type of brush kind of diffuses the color. And next I'm curling my lashes and I'm going to apply my mascara. And, oh, actually, before I apply my mascara, sorry, I go in with a color that I used before, and I'm about to show it. I guess I didn't show it, never mind. I'm using the white shade that I used earlier, and I'm just reinforcing that on my eyelid, just to kind of open up my eye, because I have super hooded eyelids, and this is just gonna make sure that color pops. Color Pop, like the brand. Anyways, I blended everything in with a MAC 217 brush, by the way, which I didn't show. And I just applied my mascara, and the mascara that I use pretty much every single day of my life is the L'Oreal Telescopic Mascara. It's my favorite mascara of all time. It's the best. And next I'm going in with a lip liner by MAC, and it's called Hover or Hoover or Hover, I don't know. And I'm lining my lips with that. It's like a really pretty warm brown. And I'm lining my lips and filling them in just slightly, just a little messily, nothing too specific or careful. I'm just filling them in slightly. And I'm gonna go in with Lime Crime's Cashmere. You can't even see the name of the shade there, but I'm pretending to show it to you. And I didn't record myself putting it on, but this is the final look. Thank you guys for watching, and if I know you, thank you so much for supporting me, and yeah, okay. And this is my little dinky setup. It's just a lamp that was balanced on a speaker. I'm watching that 70s show, and those are my beautiful dogs, and I love them. Aren't they cute? Yep. Okay, bye guys.